Hi folks, welcome to my Bit Retro Journal. This is a quick clip, 5 minutes or less. I'm toiling away on my Sinclair QL. Well, actually, this is not my Sinclair QL. This is a Dell trackball keyboard that I've got hooked via KVM switch to my Q68. I've done videos on my Q68 before. It's an FPGA implementation of the QL. I'll put a link on top so if you want to know more about this Q68. And I recently did a video on how I've integrated my Q68 into my office environment, so go check that out as well. In any case, I'm currently working with Mimir, kind of debugging it a bit more and thinking about how to finish it. And came upon a news story recently how OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, have created their own new browser called Atlas. And in Atlas, they basically are using ChatGPT. They've combined it with the browser to try to give users a new internet experience on how to navigate the web. And they want to use that to compete directly with Google and Google's Chrome. And being interested in browsers, I kind of dug a little deeper and said, well, how'd they write it? And it turns out, funny enough, they actually used Chromium, which is Google's open source browser project, to develop it. And so Chromium is also what Chrome is based on, as well as Microsoft Edge. I think the Brave browser, many other browsers. I think Firefox is one of the few browsers that doesn't use Chromium as its software base. And so I thought it was interesting that they were going to compete with Google using their own software, which also made me wonder, did OpenAI engineers just query ChatGPT to write a browser for them, and ChatGPT just went out and took the Chromium source? That's sort of a problem. It seems like what generative AI kind of does is just takes other people's work and puts it together for new work. And I think especially in the arts, a lot of people are unhappy with voices and video that are taken and pictures and graphics that are taken to build new art and animation and even fake videos. So that I thought that was kind of funny. Now, for those that want to defend OpenAI and say, hey, why would you start writing code from scratch when you have this nice code base already out there? Well, I spent the summer writing the Mimir browser from scratch, just a text editor and C compiler, and it came out pretty well, and I learned a lot. And writing from scratch as opposed to relying on other people's code, or especially relying on a generative AI to build from other people's code, you learn a lot, but you also give yourself some flexibility to maybe improve things. So I think there's certainly something to be said about that. And so if I can do it, perhaps the folks at OpenAI ought to have thought of doing that. But it's not always good that you have a single code base for every browser. So I really like the fact that Firefox is still its own code base, and maybe Mimir will become the next open source code base. I still haven't finished it, and I plan to add graphics and all these other things. It's never going to be as powerful as something like Chrome or Atlas, but still, it's nice to be able to write your own. And speaking of more about browsers, in a few weeks, I'm going to be doing a video on Slipknot, which is the inspiration of Mimir, browser that was developed for Windows 95 back in 95, in the first few years of the World Wide Web, that uses the same idea of not TCP/IP, but instead connecting to a server and using it to browse the web via a modem. And so hope is to install it on an old machine and try to get it to work and see if, just like Mimir, it can still browse the web. That's what I got coming up, so check that out. That's all I got for you today, so thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.